Welcome to Maternity Leave Matters Monday. My name is Jade. What's your name, dear?
I'm also Jade. That's really funny.
Do you know that we are the only developed country that doesn't guarantee maternity leave?
Yes, I do actually, and it's really ridiculous that we can consider ourselves a first world country without providing that basic right. It's really crazy, like how we treat mothers in the U.S. while saying that we are the best and still treating women the way that we do.
Yeah, exactly. So I almost had an abortion because there's no maternity leave in America. So that's kind of what inspired me to start the show. And even when I was pregnant, I didn't know if I was going to get maternity leave until like the very end. Only 1 in 4 mothers get paid maternity leave. And then the others rely on FMLA, and that's Family Medical and Leave Act. And it's not maternity leave, it's a loophole job protection law. So it's 12 weeks unpaid time off just so you can return to work and you're not fired, essentially.
I think it's awful. Truly, to raise a child, fresh out of a pregnancy, you need at least the length of the pregnancy. All of those months, month 1 to month 12, are critical to the baby's development. And what mothers are left with, like here in the U.S., a lot of centers where I've seen only provide like 6 weeks or, just a 3-month period. The more money you have, the more days you get off. And it's just kind of really unfair to any mothers who are like coming from poverty or honestly even just middle class. And what you're left with after that 3-month period is to dump your kids with potentially a stranger. In childcare, you never know what's going to happen. You can go to a center and it'll be amazing, and then you can go to somewhere that's like a higher tuition, higher price, higher ratings, and then something terrible happens to your baby. And I don't feel like mothers anywhere should be proposed that as the only option. I think no matter where you're coming from, no matter what your background is, how much money you have, maternity leave shouldn't be negotiable.
I say that it's a human right that every mother needs time to heal and bond with their babies. It takes 6 weeks to physically heal. That's not even accounting emotionally, because it's a sort of trauma to your body.
Absolutely, and the dinner plate wound. There is a hole the size of a dinner plate, roughly, inside your uterus, and it does not heal until after, however much time, and then even then it's debatable how healed it really is. But in the U.S., most of the time you're expected to be back working before that's even down to, we'll say, a dessert plate.
I'm sure you know about other countries. Germany provides 3 years maternity leave, and a lot of the Nordic countries provide parental leave. America is really lacking in our family values. We still see maternity leave as something that you should be prepared for, like you should have enough savings, or people will also rebuttal and say that you should work at a better job. Every woman should be able to heal. It shouldn't matter where you work. And then Erica Komisar is a psychoanalyst, and she wrote a book called Being There, and she claims that mothers should be with their babies for the first 3 years of life because that's when 90% of the brain forms. We shouldn't be separating mothers and babies, breaking the mother-baby bond, because it's critical for their brain and emotional development.
Absolutely, and I completely agree. Although I don't feel like it should be a forced leave.
I totally agree with you. We should have a lot of options. We should have co-ops where mothers can work together and take turns taking care of their children. Exactly. I know that a lot of women are forced back to work weeks because they don't have maternity. The average American only has $1,000 in their savings. So how are they going to pay for bills while being on maternity leave? And mothers shouldn't have to choose between their babies or a paycheck.
The single mother rate in the U.S. as well. So many of these women are left to be on their own, and they're just supposed to, pay the bills, take care of the baby, be on leave, heal, but they're not being afforded those privileges. When it, again, it should be a right. It's something that is necessary for your baby and you to survive. we're not treated like it is.
Right, we're treated like it's a luxury.
Yeah.
Do you know why we don't have maternity leave in America? One of the big reasons. So it's the formula industry. The formula industry lobbies against maternity leave because when mothers are forced to return back to work too soon, they're more likely to switch to formula.
Wow.
Did
That's
you know
awful.
So it's more about their profits. The formula industry is not really for mothers and babies.
You know, that makes a lot of sense. They're becoming more and more overpriced and like false scarcity, I think it's called,
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
where they'll purposefully put less of a product on the shelf so that they can raise prices.
I heard that there is one formula that does support maternity leave. The Chamber of Mothers, I've been talking to them, they support paid maternity leave. They sponsor them, but it's called Bobby. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's Bobby Organics. So we like Bobby Organics. We do have some state-run programs. So California, Oregon, Washington, and they're allocated through payroll taxes. So the employer and the employee put in a small percentage, and that's how they fund maternity leave. And that's also the case for Canada, which provides a year to 18 months of paid leave. So mother and father, they can split it up how they like. A lot of people think that maternity leave is this big tax, but it really isn't. It's through payroll taxes, or it's through something called employment insurance. We have unemployment insurance. It's just the same. The argument that I hear a lot from people, they're like, well, you should have a husband. Where's your husband? It doesn't matter if you have a husband or not. Like every baby should be with their mother, who they 100% depend on for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are no new people without mothers. We act like something that's natural and has been happening, literally forever, and will sustain the human race and is the only thing that can sustain us. And we pretend that it's this thing that, shouldn't have had a baby, don't know what to tell ya. Mm-hmm. But otherwise there would be no new babies and there'd be no new people. Unemployment sometimes is a choice, but that'll be covered.
I also heard you work at a daycare. I heard
Yes.
that the infant daycare costs even more.
It does. But I would say there's a $700 to $500 difference between like 4-year-olds and infant rooms, and then throughout the year that's subject to change, and then especially with inflation right now it's getting more and more absurd. Of course there's background checking, but there's not a lot of standards.
I think I understand what you're saying. So basically, they don't have to have like an education per se, like an early education. And it's because these jobs are so needed, these caretaking jobs, but they're treated like nothing in capitalism because we really devalue caretaking. That's, taking care of kids at a daycare or CNA work, or even just being a mother, like women's work is what they call it. It's really devalued under capitalism because it doesn't generate profit.
Oh, yeah, all of it really can just be rooted back to society's strange, deep hatred of women.
So, did you know that the feminist movement was actually led by privileged women who were primarily childless? So they were educated at home and they felt like they were wasting away, which they were. They were at home, they didn't have any kids, and they were just sitting at home and they had all this potential. And the only reason that people actually listened to them was because they were privileged. But the thing is, poor women, single women, women of color, immigrants have always worked. And so people will be like, oh, well, women chose this. You wanted, to go work. But that's not even true. But really what forced women to work was inflation in the 70s. We were all forced to work.
Oh, absolutely, completely. It used to be that you could rely on one of the parents to bring in pretty much all of the income, and you could sustain yourself with that, and you could have a house, have your babies, even have a pet, and it would all be funded, and you would even have like a little bit of money on the side to go and do the vacation and enjoy the beach house. Nowadays, even with that dual income household, even if you have all of the opportunities afforded to you, like that you could have been offered, women today are struggling more and more with the task, and it's becoming more of a trap. Then I feel like that women should have been granted the option
Yeah.
to work or not work.
So that's what happened. So other countries around the world, when they were advocating for rights, to work, to vote, America forgot about maternity leave. They were so focused getting into work and getting out of the domestic household that they just forgot about it. And because America has this negative view about handouts. So they were probably hesitant to even ask, hey, we need maternity leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Again, like with corporations, and then they're so money hungry. It's like little numbers and like little worker bees. Like there's no value to your employee except for the skill that they offer you. A lot of corporations these days, especially women, but really across the board, do not value their employees as humans.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know that birth rate has plummeted. And can you
no one
imagine?
can afford it anymore.
Exactly. So we make the decision about having a baby based on economics, based on, if you can afford it, which is horrible because even having babies is a human right. It's the most human thing that we do.
I hear a lot of people online say that, if you're poor, if you're under a certain tax bracket, just don't have babies. But I feel like that's such a terrible thing to say to people and to say to women when, again, since, the dawn of the human race, women, no matter what their background, have been and should be able to have babies, and it's only more of a Western idea that they should be persecuted for that, or that like anything bad should happen to them because of that, because it was their choice.
It's called class eugenics. Much being classist, you can't have babies because you're poor.
Yeah.
Do you think that employers should fund paid leave to both parents, or do you think it should be a national policy?
I think it should be a national policy. It should be listed, in the whole Bill of Rights, that since we all come from women and we all have to be given birth to,